Hi, folks, this is Hector Garcia, and if you've never seen my YouTube channel before, I'll do a quick introduction. I'm an accountant and a business consultant, and my channel is mostly around accounting, specifically through QuickBooks and Excel. I talk about business management in general. Every once in a while, I'll talk about video editing, and also I sprinkle here and there things that I find interesting. I usually don't do book reviews, but I recently read this book. It's called Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones. I'll put an Amazon link on the description below. And I like to quickly say what I like about this book. So real quick, this book is about 127 pages. Pretty big text. Notice that it fits in my hand, one hand. So you can read this in less than an hour. This is not incredibly enlightening book. I mean, it's not gonna blow your mind or anything like that, but because it is called Exactly What to Say, what he tries to do is give you a few key phrases or a few key words that you can use when you negotiate or when you're trying to sell your services, sell yourself, sell an idea to be more effective in communication. Now, this is not manipulation. This is being better at communicating, better at getting the result that you want. So let me give you an example. One of the common challenges that we have is when we get an incoming lead or someone that's interested in working with us, and we have maybe a 20-minute phone conversation, then we send an email with our prices or services, whatever it happens to be, and we get no responses, no feedback. And that's tough because if we call them again a week after or 2 weeks after, we're afraid that if we do that, we may sound pushy. And we don't want to sound pushy, especially accountants who are not salespeople. We don't want to sound pushy, but we also don't want to, let's say, waste that opportunity of that conversation that we have. And we really want to close the loop on that. We want to make sure that we don't wait for something from that conversation, or that we don't waste our time per se, for the lack of a better term. So he's got a concept here, which is called, I'm guessing you haven't got around to. So when you communicate with them, if you're going to call them or if you're going to email with your prospect, you can start with, I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to reviewing our proposal. Just wanted to check if you wanted us to follow up on this. So what's nice about, I guess you haven't gotten around to, is it's that specific phraseology doesn't assume that you gave up, that the customer saw it and declined it and didn't want to work with you. It actually exudes the confidence that, of course, I would think that you would hire us once you get around to looking at it. And at the same time, it doesn't put you in a confrontation situation with a customer where you're sort of judging them for not revising or not getting back with you. So the customer may simply say, you know what, I did get around to it. We went ahead and decided to go somewhere else, which is great because it doesn't sit in limbo anymore. Or the customer may say, oh, thank you for following up. You're right, I haven't gotten around to it. Let's set up an appointment next week, or let me get around with it. Follow up with me next week. So it really helps you close the loop. It may not get you the yes, the buying answer, but it may get you quickly into the, hey, we decided not to go with it. That way it's not sitting there in limbo and you're not really wondering what to do with it. So I think that I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to, it's actually a really powerful way to start a follow-up conversation. Another really cool one that he has here is called a favor, or would you do me a favor? So as professionals, one of the things that we struggle with sometimes is getting our customers that actually love us to spend the time to write a review or recommend us to someone else or send us a referral or specifically tell us which of their friends they would like us to contact so we can offer our services. And we're afraid of saying, hey, send me some referrals. So one of the really cool things that he says is you can start the sentence with, would you do me a favor, with a question mark. And obviously, if you're having a good relationship with your customer and they like you and they respect you, if you start by asking for a favor without saying what it is, it's more likely going to render a yes of some sort. So it's going to get some commitment up front, and then you can do your ask, which says, yes, it would be great if you go into this website and do a review or rave about our services, or could you check with, within your group of friends and colleagues who else would be a good fit for our services. But it's starting with a sentence, would you do me a favor, because people want to do each other favors. I mean, people actually want to help the others. And when you don't include exactly what the favor is, it may at least get the person more receptive towards listening to what it is. Now, it doesn't mean that if they said, yes, I'll do you a favor, and then you ask for something that they can't give or they don't want to give, that they will give it to you anyway. That's not necessarily true, but at least it gets them listening to the request. Another really cool one that's here is called just out of curiosity. So this is a good conversation technique. So when you're speaking to someone and for whatever reason you thought you did a really good presentation of your services and the customer says, I need some time to think about it. That's a very common objection, to kind of not give somebody a hard no. And it's so well known and so well used that people are just sort of do it automatically. So if they're not ready to make a decision, they'll say, I need some time to think about it, or I need to ask someone else, or whatever it happens to be. So by not accepting that answer, or at least telling that person in one way, shape, or form that you dedicated the time, you did your homework, you presented your services, and it's unfair to get I had to think about it answer. You want to continue the conversation and get a more clear answer. So one of the great ways to continue it is to say, just out of curiosity, because everyone appreciates curiosity, and curiosity is sort of non-intrusive. And a customer may simply say, well, I don't want to give you that answer now, or I'm not ready, or whatever happens to be. But if you say, just out of curiosity, what was it about my presentation that wasn't clear enough to help you decide, or something like that, whatever happens to be. But just out of curiosity is a really great one to start with. So there's 25 phrases in here. I think the book is really great. It's $15 in Amazon. I'll put a link on the description below. And I got to interview the author, which was pretty cool. So I'm going to play a quick clip of the interview, and I'll also put a link to the whole interview if you want to see it.
So a simple sequence of words, some of the magic words I lift from Exactly What to Say, would be a way of introducing just about anything to just about anybody, completely rejection free. And the words in question are the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, but. See, if I introduce an idea to somebody and I say, I'm not sure if it's for you, little voice inside head does a couple of things. First thing it does is it says, I'll be the judge of that. The second thing little voice does is curiosity is piqued, and it's like, what is it? What is it that you want to be able to talk to me about? So I have to be able to find out some more. There's some further power in this sequence of words, though, which is the insertion of the word but. See, what the word but does in almost every given conversation is it negates what was said prior. I mean, imagine a set of circumstances where a client was saying to you, like, I really value the time, effort, and energy you've put towards our business since its incubation, since it started back in 2007. But things have changed. You know where the conversation is now going. What's happened is they're saying, I forgot all the good stuff you've done. I'm sorry, you're fired. That's the likelihood of where that conversation is going to go. So but negates everything that came prior to it. I'd avoid using it at all costs other than this precise set of circumstances. See, if I now just say to somebody, I'm not sure if it's for you, but how would you feel about working with me more closely on a one-to-one basis to help me partner with the success of your business? Well, about the only thing the other person can say back is, well, how does that work then? So that would be one example of a precise set of words that can get us into a more meaningful conversation. Now, another is all built upon the fact that a really simple human principle. If I asked a room of 1,000 people who would see themselves as being open-minded, how many hands do we think would go up?
All of them.
Yeah, like somewhere like most of them, other than the people who wouldn't raise their hand regardless of what I asked. And there's a belief that everybody wants to see themselves as open-minded. Because what is the alternative to open-minded?
Close-minded, right?
Now, that's the accountant in you that says the alternative to open-minded is closed-minded, being as precise as you possibly can. Yet the true alternative to open-minded is almost like idiot. Like, you cannot admit to not being open-minded. It's a difficult thing to be able to admit to. So I can use that fact in language. I could say, look, how open-minded would you be to us working more closely together on the success of your business? Now, if I ask a how open-minded question would you be, it's very easy for me to introduce an idea to somebody that cannot change.
Anyway, recommend the book, and I hope you learn exactly what to say.